24.
Stellantis down about 13%. Also on Wall Street, the Dow is down 137. S&P has dropped 4 points. The NASDAQ is down 3 points. And we check the WTIC forecast.
Comfortable the rest of this afternoon with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. High 78, partly cloudy this evening. Turning out mostly cloudy overnight, low 54. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, high 72. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low 50 to 55. Wednesday, staying mostly cloudy, cooler with a high of 68 degrees. Then Thursday, partly sunny and pleasant with an afternoon high of 74. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
73 degrees right now. Sports in the first of two. Eighth inning, Atlanta leads the Mets 3-0. The winner clinches a playoff spot. They'll play again later. The loser of that game is out of the playoffs. WNBA playoffs game 2 tomorrow. The Sun at Minnesota. Basketball Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has died of brain cancer. He was 58. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker. WTIC 1080 News.
If you've got high blood pressure, there's a 50-50 chance you're a walking time bomb. Thankfully, you can take control of your blood pressure with a drink called 120 Life. 120 Life is formulated with ingredients that have all been shown to help naturally lower blood pressure. Go to 120life.com. Use the code JUICE for 15% off. We'll refund your money if you're not fully satisfied. Go to 120life.com. There's nothing to lose. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interest in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a realtor.
Dan Andelman here. You probably know me as...
1 minute.
So you know I love food. But to be honest, after years of sampling every dish under the sun, it was starting to take a toll on my health. Now listen, I'm not going to completely give up all my favorite foods, and that's where Awaken 180 comes in. 3 weeks in, and I'm already down 18 pounds, and I'm still hitting up plenty of great restaurants. The difference is that I'm making smarter choices, tweaking some recipes, and I'm saving up for my grand finale, because once I hit my goal of losing 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, it's a whole new ball game. All foods are back on the menu, baby. Awaken 180 isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. They've helped me understand my body and my metabolism, and if I can do it in my...
In 10.
So if you're ready to transform your relationship with food, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The goal for all of us should be that one day things will be done neither because of nor in spite of any of the differences between us, ethnic differences or racial differences, whatever they may be, that we will have total equal opportunity for all people. And I would do everything I could in my power to bring that about.
Yeah! What's going on, all you scalawags out there? It's Reese on the Radio on this September the 30th, 2024. Pleasure to be here with you. Telephone number 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. The great communicator, Mr. Ronald Wilson Reagan, my hero. I call him what do I call him? I refer to him as my pop-pop, my fictional pop-pop on my father's side. He talks about, that was during a debate. And, of course, we have the debate tomorrow between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, which I'm very much looking forward to. People say it's going to be a barn burner. It may be even more exciting than the one between Trump and Kamala Harris. But whatever. If it is, it is. I have no predictions on tomorrow. I haven't really followed Tim Walz like that, but we'll get into that as well. But I love Ronald Reagan because, again, that was my introduction to politics as a 10-year-old boy. And he taught me, if anything, on television, he taught me about the Constitution. What he believed were things that I could actually get behind. And what the 40th president made very clear to me was not just our freedoms, but that the government had to adhere to the people. He believed government was the problem. He made many people like me who grew up in the Reagan era understand that our elected officials serve us. They are public servants. This has now been thrown by the wayside. Part and parcel because we as people, and I say we because, again, this is the only time I refer to us as a collective, because we all own a little bit of the way that Washington or politics at all actually works today. We have left it to our politicians to not just supply us with our basic needs, but to pretty much run our lives. When we can't solve a problem, we leave it to government to figure it out. Local, state, and federal. We'll have a debate in our communities, and then we will push it. Will you guys pass a law? Will you guys get rid of a law? We wait for them to govern us instead of govern on our behalf. This has led to a lot of things in our life and into today's monologue. You all heard it. I know you heard about it. But it was the speech, or I don't know, dribble, that came out the mouth of John Kerry over the weekend. You may have heard about it. And many people should be concerned about what they heard. Not because John Kerry has some sort of weight. John Kerry is an unelected bureaucrat. He has no real power. But what he did over the weekend is make evident to everyone that the government wishes to silence you. And I've seen it here, right on this very program, on this very network. The crazy part about it is that I've heard it from the people who listen to this network, who feel as though they've become so unglued about the rights of people to say things they're uncomfortable with. They become so unglued that they hear people like John Kerry and they applaud them. If you didn't hear it, I want you to hear John Kerry in his own words. Listen.
So tough. Everybody's wrestling with that right now. And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today.
Now, think about that sentence. Building consensus. It's really hard to govern. Why is it hard to govern? In essence, what John Kerry is saying, it's hard for us to implement government on the people because they just won't listen. They will not be governed. That's not their job.
You can't, there's no, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of been eviscerated.
Who's he talking about there? Who's he talking about there? Who are the referees? I wish the person on the dais would have asked him, what do you mean the referees? Who are they? I believe he thinks that the referees are Tom Brokaw, Peter Jennings, and Dan Rather. That's just my view. I could be wrong, but I think that's when he had a complicit and adhering news media that did whatever the state wanted. Those were the referees.
To a certain degree. And people go and that people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera.
Accountability on facts. So therefore, there must be a punishment for things that they say are not facts. John Kerry believes that the only people who have it right are members of the state. But with all of these people, who is he talking about? Whom is he discussing when he says all of these social media? The social media platforms don't put out anything. You do. The social media platforms are just dead air. You are the person who puts the content there. You are the people who promote your content to get it to other people. Other people consume that. So who's he talking about? It's not Elon Musk. It can't be Mark Zuckerberg. He's talking about you. There should be consequences for things that are not facts.
But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick.
Ooh. Now the places you roam are sick, John Kerry has decided.
And, has an agenda, and they're putting out disinformation. Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So,
you see, the people I want to talk to are the people who agree with John Kerry. Those are the people I need to understand why they side with the state, why they talk about what you can and cannot, or what you should and should not be able to talk about, to discuss, to believe, to investigate, to do your own research. I know they tell you that they have no problem with it. I hear it all the time. I've got no problem with it. But I know that they do. Now, I know I'm going to kick a hornet's nest here. I don't care, but I'm going to kick it anyway. I told you this was going to happen after Alex Jones. I told you that this rhetoric was going to tick up after Alex Jones. I know a lot of people didn't care. But once you permit it, remember, they're doing it at your behest. Once they find the right enemy, they will then promote that enemy. See why this is good? You hate that person, don't you? This is why it's good. We must continue this. We must continue to have more of this. And we should be able to indiscriminately apply it to anyone that we deem dangerous. Destroy them. Hell, lock them up. What did they do to the guy? I was watching an old video of Barack Obama giving a speech at the UN immediately after the attack on Benghazi. Do you remember there was that film that Hillary and Susan Rice and Barack Obama blamed the attack on Benghazi? Had nothing to do with it. It happened to be the anniversary of September 11th. Remember what they told us? It was some sort of anti-Muslim film that caused it. And then what did they do to the American citizen, the Christian, the Coptic Christian who made the film? What did they do to him? Did they put him in jail? Yes, they did. They got him on a parole violation. What was the parole violation? He made a film? The entrepreneurial spirit to make a film? To pay actors to be on a film that they didn't like was a parole violation? John Kerry is telling the quiet part out loud. They're saying it out there to dip their toe in the water and see who responds. I saw it here twice last week. Twice last week. People who had the audacity. Last night I got an email or a text message, I should say. Someone doing the same thing. Literally coming outside of themselves to talk about what they don't like about who I am or what I do. And my response was simple. When I don't like a movie, I don't go. When I don't watch a television show, when I don't like a television show, I don't watch. If I don't like a radio host, I don't listen. But there are people, truly, who wish to silence dissent in a country that used to applaud it. Back in the day, we used to make heroes out of those folks. Now they're villains. How that tide has turned, I find it interesting. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Everett's in East Hartford. How we doing, sir?
Good. Alex Jones, till this day, I'm still baffled of what they charged him with. He basically put
Well, he
out
wasn't charged. He was sued.
Personal opinion, and he got sued for freedom of speech and lost.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, it's just there's no. I don't understand how they even allowed that to go in front of the judge.
Because it had enough enemies. See, you have to understand, right? The objective here, and that's the whole bait and switch. The whole bait and switch is let's find somebody completely irredeemable and violate the constitutional rights of said individual. If you didn't watch it with Alex Jones, you must have been ignoring it, not you, Everett, but you must have been ignoring it as they were doing it to Donald Trump. Right? They were literally twisting the law into a pretzel in order to charge the man for things that he wasn't, that everyone else was allowed to do before him. So again, what they do is they have the enemy. Look, this guy's evil. We should be allowed to violate his constitutional rights. He's a bad person. He can't be seen like everyone else. And then it will be the norm where they'll keep giving you the proper enemy that everybody can agree upon. Oh, we don't like that guy. Go ahead, get him. And then after a while, it becomes so normal that everyone gets charged.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people got to stand against it because they don't understand. When you take the right away from one person, you're actually forging the links of the chains that are going to enslave yourself.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
People don't realize, we're talking about him. No, you're talking about yourself. You look in the mirror because that's who you're passing the law against.
Exactly.
You're passing the law against yourself.
You think about it, I'll even make the case for Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was an absolute scum. Absolute scum. But if we find out tomorrow that the government found a way to kill him inside of a prison cell, we have got to ask ourselves, is it allowed because Jeffrey Epstein is scum? And who gets to determine who gets that treatment? At what level do we say, whoa, even Jeffrey Epstein has the constitutional right to face his accusers and have due process? But again, if we start normalizing it to the point where all they do is push back at us and say, this person's scum, we have to violate his constitutional rights so we can get justice. And then when people start to go, all right, on this guy, we'll let you. Okay, on this person, we'll let you. Once you start letting down that guard, everyone is up. Again, it's never about one guy. And I told you they're all Bond villains, right? The world is not enough. It's not just Alex Jones. It's not just Jeffrey Epstein. The goal is you at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, again, John Kerry, all he was doing was reflecting his own thoughts of what he does.
Oh, and I think there's a consensus of people like him in government. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's transference. I think that he and many people in Washington feel the same way. I think that, when Obama gave that speech at the UN after the Benghazi attacks, he had to express to everyone, we have this Constitution. They hate the Constitution because they understand what that document means. It means what the government can't do to its people, and that restricts them, and they hate that restriction. But if they
Yeah,
can,
they only like the Fifth Amendment.
all right, exactly. That's such a true statement. Thank you, Everett. I appreciate you, sir. It's a classic case of people telling us every day that they don't want us to be free. Every time you turn around, you guys have seen, every time you've seen it happen, when you've seen the government go above and beyond to allow certain things to happen that you would never allow or never see happen under any other circumstances, you have to question what's going on. Right now, there's a case that everyone's talking about. There was a hearing just recently. I'm sure you know what we're talking about. Huh? A deal that was able to go through lickety-split, no oversight, completely. Everyone talks about it. I get an email about it every day. But the objective is, again, when you guys start sitting around, when they start demonizing people and then telling you that we're going to punish them, you're going to want them punished so bad, they won't do it behind your backs. They won't violate their constitutional rights behind your back. They'll do it to your face. And the worst part is that now you have a complicit media that does it. Everyone knew about Donald Trump's case with the real estate case. Everybody knew this was bogus. Everyone in the news media knew that it was a joke, that every real estate deal is done like this. Everybody. Not one, with the exception of some conservative media outlets and some bloggers, but not one mainstream media company gave an objective view on it. They were just the stenographers of the state. They echoed it. They celebrated it because they had the right villain. Every norm, you could do it. And there were people, average people, average schmoes, walking around celebrating the demonization of this man and celebrating and the injustice that was going on in the so-called justice system. The fact that no one like the Supreme Court would even step up and say what's being done is a violation of the man's rights. Not one person had the temerity to step up and say, we got to put a stop to this. They never bothered. And while everybody else was getting frustrated, the other side was going, yeah, more of it. And here's John Kerry talking about if we win elections, if we continue to win elections, we'll do exactly that and more of it, because it's obvious we have cheerleaders within our union. I want to hear exactly what you think about doing it to your enemies. I want to hear from the libs. I know you're out there. I know you listen. You can't help but send a message. I get it. I'm like the vein, that open vein. I'm right there. Come on, call in. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I'd love to hear from you. We'll be back at the other side of this break. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
This is Jean Marie Laskus with the podcast Cement City. So there's this election coming up, a big one, and one guy's been indicted. People are talking voter fraud. Democracy itself is on the line. Sound familiar? Well, this isn't that election. This one is in Denora, Pennsylvania, a dying town in the middle of nowhere, where I bought a house and stayed for 3 years. Listen to and follow Cement City, an Odyssey original podcast in partnership with Cement City Productions.
Oh, you like the Bond
on the
Village.
Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcast.
Take a moment and think of one thing you
If Jadakiss said that same line, everybody be going crazy.
leg or back pain got in the way. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Well, you're not alone. We hear it all the time. Folks are fed up with living with pain that's keeping them from doing what they love, and they look to us at the Good Feet Store for a solution. And that's why we're here, to help get you back out there. Good Feet arch supports, which you can only get at the Good Feet Store, are designed to alleviate and even eliminate foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Plus, they provide improved balance, more comfort, and, well, just a better life. We can help you turn your pain into possibilities with a free fitting at the Good Feet Store. You'll be personally fit by an arch support specialist, and you'll get to walk around and see how good feet arch supports feel. Then you can decide if they're right for you. For over 30 years, the Good Feet store has been helping people get back to doing the things they love without their feet getting in the way. Stop in today at the Good Feet store in Avon, across from Whole Foods, or visit goodfeet.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast. We always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
And now, a WTIC news update.
74 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low in the mid-50s tonight, high in the low 70s tomorrow. Vice presidential candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance meets in a CBS News debate tomorrow night. CBS's Nancy Cordes on that.
This is really the last chance that voters have to get a good look at these two tickets side by side before Election Day. Only the second debate of the cycle between either Harris or her running mate and Trump and his running mate. And so, if you're still undecided, you're going to want to tune in to hear what these two men, who have really actually only been on their respective tickets for a few weeks.
You can hear it live on WTIC. Senator Chris Murphy's office says the senator is in Mexico City with the U.S. presidential delegation. They're attending the inauguration of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. Officials tell the AP Israel has launched small ground raids in Lebanon, and a larger ground operation is being planned.
We're seeing some of the clearest signs yet of Israel's preparation for an expansion of the conflict. Dozens and dozens of tanks, armored fighting vehicles, and bulldozers, virtually everything you would expect for a ground invasion. And this comes just days after Hezbollah confirmed the targeted killing of the head of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and in the face of ongoing airstrikes in southern Beirut and in southern Lebanon, just a few miles from here.
CBS's Chris Livesay. It remains a crisis in Asheville, North Carolina, as officials try to get more water, food, and other supplies to flood-stricken areas. Many remain without power or cell service in the wake of Hurricane Helene. The death toll in the south is at more than 120. In Tennessee, 14 state bridges are closed and 5 are destroyed. The FEMA administrator is surveying damage in North Carolina, where search and rescue teams are on the ground. State wildlife officials confirmed the first human case of a new tick-borne disease. It's also the first case of rickettsiosis in the Northeast. It's carried by the Gulf Coast tick, which has been moving north. The illness can be treated with antibiotics. CVS Corp of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, says it will cut another 2,900 jobs nationwide. Some of those layoffs could impact Hartford-based Aetna, which is owned by CVS. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 143, S&P dropping 7 points, NASDAQ is down 44 points. And we check the WTIC forecast.
Partly sunny the remainder of this afternoon, and pleasant with a high of 78 degrees. Partly cloudy as we begin this evening, turning mostly cloudy overnight with a low of 54. Tomorrow, clouds and occasional sunshine, not as warm as today, high 72. And considerable cloudiness tomorrow night and Wednesday. Low tomorrow night 50 to 55. High Wednesday, 68. Back to nice weather on Thursday. A mix of sun and clouds, high 74. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
74 degrees right now. Sports, a big Mets comeback in the first of two. Eighth inning, Mets lead Atlanta 6-3. The winner clinches a playoff spot. They'll play again later. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker. WTIC 1080 News.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation you deserve. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds,
1 minute.
50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes. $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, yeah. I like the groove of that. Reese on the Radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. This November the 30th, 2024. Don't forget, folks, if you're going to check out, or you can't check out the vice presidential debate tomorrow live, and you're in your car, or let's say you're out doing something, you don't have a TV handy, you can just turn on to WTIC or download the Odyssey app. Always important to do that. Download the Odyssey app so you can check out the debate, because we'll be simulcasting it live right here. All right, so you could, of course, join us folks over at WTIC. I don't know whether or not the debate's going to be that much of a barn burner, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Plenty of news and plenty of views coming up. Don't forget, we've got the 5 o'clock focus coming up. I always try to keep it local. There's a big story in New Haven this morning I want to talk about a little bit. It involves the school. I tried to get a state senator on the air, but that doesn't mean that he's not. I just haven't heard back yet, but we'll talk about that as well. Also, I'll tell you about the stupidest thing that I read today, which I found interesting in the whole Kamala Harris, people supporting Kamala Harris on the Republican side. We'll get into that as well, especially now they're unelected Republicans, which I also find a little crazy. I got a message from somebody who was, I guess, I don't know. Can I say that they follow me, or at least they check out the show? I don't know. But I'm going back and forth with them because I'm trying to figure out, if you don't like me, why are you watching my show? Why are you listening to me at all? Doesn't make any sense. Not that I don't like the eyeballs or the earlobes. I love it. But I mean, it seems like, some people feel like the things that I say either enrages them or they've got to come at me and be insulting. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So this was one of the comments that they wrote. I thought this was interesting. They said that they like to hear, because they like to hear difference of opinions, and they like to have a good laugh. So then they say, maybe pretend to be sort of balanced occasionally by going off approved talking points. Which, again, I want to make this abundantly clear. I don't even know what an approved talking point is. Now, I joke around and I talk about the so-called black community, where they all seem to be like all on the same page on a certain issue. Like when Donald Trump said black jobs, all of a sudden everybody got the memo. Talk about black jobs, right? I don't get that download. Like, no one emails me and says, Reese, you talk about this and have this opinion on it. Sorry. I only laugh because it's a stupid notion. That thing only happens on the left, my friend. Only. Exclusively. Happens with the goose stepping. Dare you defy leftists of this country, and if not the world. I mean, you'd have to be the pre-approved party of politics if you can get an entire group of people politically involved in a group to say that a man is a woman because he says so. And then when you ask a woman, what is a woman? The woman, the person with the vagina, says anyone who identifies as. Please do not talk to me about pre-approved talking points. A group of people who you ask, when is an abortion too late? And the approved response is, that's between a woman and her doctor. When you have that, okay, do you understand? So when you start talking, it's always projection. Well, like occasionally, if you have a different point of view than you pre-approved, please, don't bore me. Don't bore me. You are the party of pre-approved talking points. I don't know where any of you get that download from. I don't know if there's a site. I don't know if it's stupid.com, mindnumbrobot.org. I don't know what website it is. I don't want any parts of it. I swear I won't follow you on Twitter. I refuse. I will not be a part of the mind virus. But please, never insult me with that ridiculous line, pre-approved talking points. I don't have Republican friends. I don't. I don't like echo chambers. I don't like circular firing squads. I hate hanging out with people who agree with me. They're boring. I had a woman ask me one day, what do you think of Tim Scott? I said, I don't give a damn about Tim Scott. When black people as Republicans, what do you think about Candace Owens? What do you think about Larry Elder? I don't give a damn about those people. I'm not trying to buddy up with anyone. What I believe or what I know is what I believe and what I know. I always tell people, it's my opinion. Get your own. It's as simple as that. Pre-approved talking points. They just sound similar to you. They may sound like things that you've heard before, but you've never heard them you never heard the things that I've said. Not in the way that I've said them. Ask any one of them. Go find yourself one of these rank and file Republicans and ask them whether or not they know me. Ask them whether or not they've got my number, whether or not I've ever reached out to them. I don't care. I don't need buddies and I don't need pals. I'm not asking for favors because I don't need them. I stand on my own too. And the minute that somebody tells me what to say or asks me to say something, I'll get off this microphone. Because the moment that I can't be free, I'm not free. So please understand that. I say that to anybody, as soon as it comes down upon high, hey, Reese, you can't say that. I was like, okay, can you send me my paycheck in the mail? I'm out. If you really want to see, I mean, as they say in the hood, if you really want to understand how we keep it real, we keep it real here. Knowing I am not bought, I'll never be paid for. I'm in nobody's pocket. Jim is in Wellington. How are you doing, Jim?
Hey, listen, you're not bought. You don't have to worry about anybody believing you're bought, even though somebody might accuse you of that one way or another. But anytime we're out, you can buy me anything you want. You can buy it from me. I'll take it. I'm not bought. I'm just being smart with your money.
There you go. Exactly. No, I mean, listen, I hear these people talk about, like, it's always exactly what they do that they're accusing others of. And they want, again, this is like,
oh, yes.
And you hear every argument about free speech. And here's the thing. Now, what is it that I've sort of, quote unquote, the pre-approved talking points? I believe in individualism, freedom, free market capitalism. I don't believe in the welfare state. So you're telling me that I should give it a balance on these things. Are you saying that some of these things I should agree upon? No.
Well, sir, what you believe, sir, is what the majority of Americans believe.
Yep.
And that's why we are all domestic terrorists, depending on what politician you talk to.
Exactly.
Because you dare, or they dare, or I dare to go to a school board meeting, or vote for somebody I want to vote for, or challenge fiction and give you facts, and then be blamed for every single thing they say, they script, or they do. It's okay for them to do it, but you got to blame me for it and then tell me there's something wrong.
What I would like them to do, Jim, what I would like them to do is not be so damn vague. How about this one? Instead of telling me that they would like some balance and not the pre-approved talking points, tell me what the balance is that I should give. Tell me the things that I should have consideration for. Just lay them out.
That's like talking to a mannequin. You're not going to get a response because they either cannot, willfully cannot, or they're just ignorant to it. They can't do it. That's like talking, pardon the pun, Chinese.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand. I run across this all the time, across all aspects. It's everywhere. When you call on customer service, when it's politics, it could be anything, and it's everywhere. It's invasive.
Yeah,
and I swear to God, it's got everything to do with a cell phone and the fact that people are just dumbed down by technology. They're dumbed down by
I think, yes, there is an intellectual laziness that I will agree with. It's true. Like when you have an algorithm that is actually painted on these social media sites, where if you watch one thing, and it's funny because I started watching these videos, Jim, and it was funny because I realized that I was caught in the Matrix. So I watched this video of a comedian talking about the relationship with his wife, and he was going over the same old tropes about being married and a woman doing this and a husband doing that, and talking about the differences between man and a woman. So of course I laughed. And I scrolled. I didn't even push like heart or like or anything like that. I started scrolling. All of a sudden, my entire feed started going to comedians talking about domestic stuff. And I was like, oh, that's it. I totally did it. I gave it away. All I did was watch that video for 30 seconds, and they figured me out. And then he likes this stuff. And they just start scrolling at. And you're right. One of these people will watch one video on transgenderism, and then they're inundated with it.
Listen, let me end by saying this, and you've seen this, so you know I'm right. Whenever you talk about something factual, when somebody is being as vague as you say, and I say they are, pick a subject.
Yeah.
They are so perplexed. It's like they have to do a double take to even understand that you said something. They can't even understand it, and the same thing applies to comedy. But I see that the dam is breaking. I see that they're starting to get cracks in it.
You know what? Because there's such an overwhelming amount of people who are pushing back that it's become insurmountable. It's become such an apparent essence within our daily lives that the mainstream is now becoming a distant second. But I got to go to a break, Jim. But thank you as always, sir. Love hearing your voice. Tell me I don't know who does this, but if you remember this, but tell me that Jim in Willington doesn't sound like one of the Jerky Boys. I say it every time I hear, but I love his voice. We got to take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and our first check of the traffic in the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Dan Andelman here. You probably know me as the Phantom Gourmet guy, so you know I love food. But to be honest, after years of sampling every dish under the sun, it was starting to take a toll on my health. Now listen, I'm not going to completely give up all my favorite foods, and that's where Awaken 180 comes in. 3 weeks in, and I'm already down 18 pounds, and I'm still hitting up plenty of great restaurants. The difference is that I'm making smarter choices, tweaking some recipes, and I'm saving up for my grand finale, because once I hit my goal of losing 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, it's a whole new ball game. All foods are back on the menu, baby. Awaken 180 isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. They've helped me understand my body and my metabolism, and if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. So if you're ready to transform your relationship with food, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4,
That's a good
40,
bit,
or
too.
400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare captain and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call in,
Timeshare Exit Info Kit. Call 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, you went really, really deep in the crates. Find some good bumper rotation stuff. I love it. Not bad, buddy. Not bad. Roland's on the job. It's Reese on the Radio, of course, as the voice just said. I try to tell people that Reese on the Radio, we're in the business here of keeping it real. Back in the days, keeping it real meant you said some things that might be, offensive. Maybe you got a little uncomfortable. But keeping it real was about keeping it real. Let's tell the truth. Nowadays, when people are keeping it real, it's always about something embarrassing. Like today, keeping it real is, I secretly listen to Shania Twain records when I'm taking a bath. Now that's keeping it real. That's the kind of stuff that guys are keeping it real about. They're just not telling the truth anymore. Not revealing embarrassing things about themselves. It's insane. My good friend Joe is in Simsbury. How we doing, sir? I knew this is great for you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too.
Try my best.
So I want to talk about the couple things. A comment that you just made about intellectual laziness.
Yeah.
And there's a number of examples. I'm going to use the example that I think is going to be really close to home for you and also for Tom, and that is talk radio.
Mm-hmm.
That if there was a station in this area that was a left-wing station that had the callers that could call in, unfortunately, I think you guys would lose about half your audience.
Okay.
And the reason is that people on our side don't want to be spoken at. We want to be spoken with.
Right.
There is no vehicle for people on the left for a local talk radio station where they can call in and have discussions, and then someone like me can call in and say, hey, this is what I heard you say. I don't agree, and here's why. It's because that's a classic example of intellectual laziness. And because there would be no sponsors, because no one would listen, because they're all intellectually lazy, then there is no competition for you.
Right.
But I'm going to give a quick example here. I know I'm up against the traffic of something our friend Tim said the other day. He called Tom.
I heard.
To talk about something I said about Wacky Wednesday, the conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah, Whack Job Wednesday.
And so to me, this is an example, not a serious example, but an example of intellectual laziness.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Tim is in the Green Party, and they're big on climate change.
Yeah.
And I said that I do not believe in the concept of continental drift, and that there was a cataclysm on the Earth, and that's why our continents look the way that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask the question then, because I knew this when I called, I just didn't bring it up and was shocked that he brought it up, is that we keep hearing about, the shoreline of such and such a place in 20 years will be 1 foot smaller. The water will rise
That's
1
right.
foot. Well, why is that climate change and not continental drift?
Ooh.
How are they, if you're going to be, pro-continental drift in terms of saying, yeah, that's the way these continents move, then I guess they're going to move, and we shouldn't get all bent out of shape when our shorelines change, should we?
Right.
So that, to me, is an example of intellectual laziness where it's like, all right, pick one, dude. Why is it climate change and not continental drift? How about joining my side and say there is no continental drift, it's climate change?
That's a great point. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, leave it to you, sir. Leave it to you. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I think he thinks he's banned. He might be on a self-ban. I'm not exactly sure. But maybe he'll call. I don't know. He's always worth my time. It may not be for everybody else. He's worth my time. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, sir. Always a good call with him. I love it. When he calls, he actually makes me feel like I may be smart. He does. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with another guy who makes me feel smart. Reluctantly, Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Yeah.
Well, anybody compared to me is going to look smart. So you're doing okay if you're standing next to me. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of I-91, delays from 35 down to 33 Jennings Road. Look out for an accident there at 33 Jennings Road. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, got a good ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford up to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound's a little slow, 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84, no problems east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound tight, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Heading toward Waterbury. Westbound 84, you've got slow traffic now from 26 up to exit 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound's a little slow by exit 18. 84 eastbound Danbury tight 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing by 11 in Newtown. 91 in the Parkway moving well, heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding thin and dull hair and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
WTIC weather.
We've got dry, tranquil weather to enjoy on this final day of September with a mixture of clouds and sunshine at a high in the upper 70s. It's warmer than what we typically find for the end of this month. We begin this evening partly cloudy. It'll tend to become mostly cloudy later tonight with a low of 54. The clouds and a few peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Not as warm as today. Tomorrow's high at 72 degrees. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 50 to 55. Cold front will cross the area late tomorrow night, Wednesday morning. The front will probably come through dry. Can't rely on a stray shower. Mostly cloudy and cooler on Wednesday with a high of 68. And then cooler weather Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low of 53, upper 40s across many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice, sunshine and a few clouds, high 74. Then partly cloudy Thursday night, low 54. And we look for dry, warmer weather to end the week, partly sunny on Friday with a high of 78. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
74 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. The death toll from Hurricane Helene is at least 120 in 6 states. It's been tough to get supplies to isolated areas, including parts of western North Carolina.
President Biden says 600 people remain unaccounted for after Hurricane Helene swept over the southeast, leaving a trail of devastation and destruction.
Federal search and rescue teams have been working side by side with state and local officials and partners in very treacherous conditions to find those who are missing.
Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says the death toll could rise as crews reach areas that have been cut off. Officials tell the AP Israel has launched small ground raids in Lebanon and a larger ground operation is being planned. The Israeli military did not comment. Israel has been on offense against the Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah and others, all backed by Iran. CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd.
What Iran is weighing is whether it wants to get into a direct conflict, not just with Israel, but with the United States. The U.S. has deployed and repositioned a very significant amount of military assets in the Middle East, and those assets would come into play if there was a more escalated response by Iran and its proxies.
In other news, the name of the 1-year-old girl killed in a Berlin 3-car crash Saturday has been released. Ella Salgado of Meriden suffered fatal injuries in the collision at the intersection of the Berlin Turnpike and North Colony Road. 2 adults and 2 other children in the same vehicle are expected to recover. In the state's 2nd congressional district, Democratic Congressman Joe Courtney is trying to secure his 10th term in Congress. He realizes there aren't many housing options in eastern Connecticut for anyone interested in moving there for work.
So I was up in the quiet corner chamber, and somebody who's not in the submarine supply chain business, but is an employer out there, was just, losing it about the fact that his people that he's trying to hire can't find a place to live.
Congressman Courtney believes money to clean up brownfields will ultimately help create more housing. His Republican challenger, Mike France, says these are tough times beyond housing.
What I'm hearing from people as I travel around the district, the number one thing they're talking about, as I just stated, was basic things like how to feed their family.
Both candidates were on WTIC's Brian and Company. Many Verizon customers are having trouble connecting today.
People across the country are saying that their cell phones with Verizon have no service except for SOS mode. That means the phone can only make emergency calls like 911 by connecting to other carriers. Others are complaining on social media that the outage is making it impossible for them to use two-factor authentication, which is when a company sends a code via a text to a phone during login as an added security precaution. The outages are nationwide from Boston to Atlanta, Minneapolis to Los Angeles.
CBS's Matt Piper reporting. In the nation's capital, a crackdown on mopeds.
In Washington, D.C., police have impounded almost 500 mopeds since their crackdown called Operation Ride Right began in June. More than 100 of the vehicles have gone unclaimed. Police are swooping in on areas where the drivers gather, restaurants, where they wait for delivery orders. Police bring along a flatbed truck, and if the driver or moped isn't licensed, onto the truck the moped goes. Many of the drivers are migrants here without permission, and the only way they can make money is to deliver food. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
CVS Corp of Rhode Island says it will cut another 2,900 jobs nationwide. Some of those layoffs could impact Hartford-based Aetna, which is owned by CVS. On Wall Street today, the Dow winds up 17 points. S&P climbed 24 points. NASDAQ was plus 70 points. Sports, back and forth they go. In the first of two in Atlanta, bottom of the ninth, the Mets lead the Braves 8-7. The winner clinches a playoff spot. They'll play again later. If there's a sweep, the losing team will miss the playoffs. Basketball Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has died of brain cancer. He was 58 years old. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other.
40 seconds.
And it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking great sex, with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. In Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work,
Right, here we go.
visit is free.
Let me write it.
800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. Stupidest thing that I read today. You got to go to reasoontheradio.com for that. Go to reasoontheradio.com. And it's about grievances of the past. Let me just say something really brief about this. I'm hearing this about Donald Trump a lot. All Donald Trump wants to talk about is the grievances of the past. And much like Joe, the way he was pretty much dissecting his dispute with Tim, or Tim's dispute with him, I want to use that sort of the template that they're using here. Donald Trump is concerned about the grievances of the past. All he wants to do is to get, what is that? I don't know. He wants to get some sort of reparations, I guess, for lack of a better term. But he wishes to litigate the grievances of the past. And I thought about that. And I went, okay, well, these grievances just happened about 4 years ago. Maybe even 8 years ago, right? From 2016 throughout his entire presidency. You know, the 2 impeachments, they trying to criminally charge him, you know, sending him to court, saying he's liable for raping a woman he knew nothing, he didn't even meet, much less got close to. All of these things. So grievances of the past. We're talking about within the last 8 years. And people keep talking about that Donald Trump's grievances should some way be ignored. He just wants to exact some sort of revenge on people who have grieved him in the past. And my response to that is, so if this is a bad thing, perhaps we should consider that with black folks. Ain't one of them ever been slaves, and they want reparations for slavery they never endured. They seem to be asking for reparations for something they never dealt with. Trying to inflict, I don't know, some sort of retribution on people who were not responsible for those dalliances in the past. I'd like to say, yeah, let's ignore grievances of the past. How do you feel about it now? Give me a call, 860-522-WTIC. Now, let's get to another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher, the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see delays from 34 down to 32A and B in Hartford. After that, moving very well down into Cromwell. Northbound 91, not seeing any delays at all. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight, approaching the Bulky Bridge up to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound losing some speed, 46 into the tunnel. 291, 384 looking real good east of the river. 2 eastbounds in good shape, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge at Middletown. 84 westbound an accident in Waterbury by exit 25. Right lane is out. Delays are approaching 26 going up to Big Hill in Cheshire. 84 eastbound is a little slow by 18 in Waterbury. If you're 84 eastbound, you got delays 3 to 5 in Danbury. 84 eastbound again slowing from exit 10 up to exit 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. 95 southbound got a little slow traffic approaching 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Intervals of clouds and sunshine the rest of this afternoon. A high of 78. We start this evening partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy for the overnight, low of 54. Tomorrow, clouds and occasional sun, high 72. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low 50 to 55. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, high 68 degrees. Back to sunshine on Thursday with a high of 74. Right now it is 75 degrees in Plainville, 74 in Wallingford, and 73 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Want $125 free heating oil or propane to save on heating costs this winter? Go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. Petro has a great deal on a new heating system with $0 down and low monthly payments. Go to petro.com now or call 1-888-PETRO02.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Hey, retirement income. Are you sure that you're maximizing your retirement income? Get the retirement income checklist from us, absolutely free. Text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. Again, call or text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. A checklist to maximize your retirement income.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Feel like everything's clouded by? Hold on a minute. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom.
Hold my hand. You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It should be easy for anyone on the planet, if you were to listen to the news media, it should be easy to find someone who voted for Donald Trump back in 2020, hell, 2016, who has changed their mind now that Kamala Harris has become the nominee for the Democratic Party. I mean, everywhere you look, you can find a Republican who is jumping out a window to support Kamala Harris. Everywhere you look, they're just there. So I find that, with all of that being said, I find it odd. I find it very odd that with that vast amount of people across the country, oh, hell, everywhere, that the Kamala Harris people, the people in charge of her campaign, put together this ad.
Bob and I both voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for him twice. I won't vote for him again. January 6th was a wake-up call for me.
Donald Trump divides people. We've already seen what he has to bring.
He didn't do anything to help us. Kamala Harris, she cares about the American people. I think she's got the wherewithal to make a difference. I've never voted for a Democrat.
Yes, we're both lifelong Republicans.
The choice is very simple.
I'm voting for Kamala.
I am voting for Kamala Harris.
Sounds like a great ad, right? Oh, hell, that's got to be damaging to the Trump campaign. These people have never voted for a Republican. They even voted for Donald Trump in the past. But they're not going to vote for him again after January 6th, you know, the day that would live in infamy. And then this happened. Sad.
Now, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have been accused of deliberate misinformation. They've released a political ad that claims to depict two former Trump voters who live in Pennsylvania and who have switched to Team Kamala after the horrors of January 6th. But this pair of farmers shown in the ad appear to, in fact, be two actors, Robert Lang and Christina Chadwick, and they have an extensive history of donating to the Democrats and leftist causes dating back to at least 2016. For a party that talks endlessly about the dangers of disinformation and misinformation, they engage in plenty of it.
Take that, John Kerry. So you're telling me that this campaign, with all of the money in its coffers that they got from Joe Biden, the millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, they seem to be getting this money, just people are donating out the wazoo. And they come up with a political ad, which, by the way, is still on their YouTube page, after these two bozos have been outed, Robert Lang and Christina Chadwick, as nothing more than Democrat operatives pretending to be Trump supporters. They couldn't find them. They tell us they're everywhere. They should have been able to reach outside of their doors, anywhere in America, and grab two schmoes and said, hey, you hate Trump now, don't you? Sure. And put them on camera. But no, they had to find actors. Folks, I defy you. I dare you. I triple dog dare you. Please explain to me how this is a real campaign. Please. Tell me how this is a real campaign. In fact, it's so real. I want to tell you how real this is. This actually happened. I still can't believe it. I forgot to even upload it here on the program. I'm going to make sure I upload it now so you can hear it. Try this on for size. The one thing that Kamala Harris is being mocked for everywhere, is the phrase, I grew up in a middle-class household. Every time you turn around, even Al Gore mocked Kamala Harris at one of these DEF things at World Economic Forums. Even he mocked her on stage, saying that everyone here came from a middle-class background. Everyone's mocking her. It's a meme, ladies and gentlemen. With all of that, so she goes out and does an interview on all of the smoke. It's one of these basketball podcasts with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. And they ask her a very simple question. In fact, you might recall the question from the ABC News debate. Here's the question. What does Kamala Harris say? Try this.
What is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So, look, I grew up, so my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center.
You hear that? It's just another variation of a well-mocked theme out of Kamala Harris. She's still using it. Now, it's not like the opposition research over at the Kamala Harris campaign doesn't know that she's being mocked and ridiculed on this stupid answer to a very basic question. But someone in her camp, these smart, brilliant people, are saying to Kamala Harris, no, go out there and say it again. They love it. And Kamala dutifully just goes, And you guys are sitting up here trying to tell me this is a real campaign? Every day I got to prove this. This is a joke. Nothing about this is real. I've been trying to tell, I'm warning you, nothing about this is real. There is going to be a book that comes out after this campaign where someone's going to reveal, oh no, it was all a joke. We were kidding. We were totally, we were pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. We couldn't do anything. It was a DEI hire. We couldn't fire her. Everyone would call us racist. I'm telling you, mark my words, the book's coming out. Someone's going to say, yeah, we couldn't fire her. So we just had to go with it, and we completely sabotaged the campaign. Nobody would ever, no, she would never, ever rule. No, of course not. Mark my words. 860-522-WTIC. Matt's in Bristol. How we doing, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
What's up?
Hey, so I'm going to go rapid fire because there's a bunch. First of all, I'm sure you watch Dave Chappelle, so you know keeping it real can go wrong. Okay, that's the first thing.
Yes, it can.
Second of all, for Joe, he didn't say. I defended him against that attack by Tim. So
I don't know if he heard it. I don't know if he heard it, but you did defend him.
Third, bought 2 of your T-shirts, and I think I'm gonna, the plan your work and work your plan.
Yeah.
I think I might get those for all the guys on my crew because what a great thing to say. What a great statement to have on your chest when you're doing construction. I mean, it can't be better.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Well, if you do, please have at it. We've got the supplier printing them up right now. They'll be here, I want to say, in the next week or so, and I'll be sending them out to you.
Awesome. Last thing. Everything I've talked about on your show, racism, gun control, sexism, who would have thought bicycles would have been the hot button issue?
Listen to me. You own that topic today. You do know that, right? Because I didn't.
I loved it.
Listen to me. No one you couldn't have told me at any time that talking about bike riding would be that hot button of an issue. But you know what? This is the reason why I love this medium, because I'm surprised every day by it. Nothing is set in stone. Anything could be the hot button issue of the day, and that one was just it.
I'll tell you what. I was sitting there with my earbuds in, giggling all day long, and everyone called up and hated on me. So I understand how you love to hate. I do too. Like, I always thought Tim would call up and hate on me, but no, having all these other guys call up and hate on me, I was giggling and laughing the whole day. I loved it, and keep it coming.
Thank you, Matt. Much appreciated, man. And I have to admit, man, you may have to get a writer's credit on Friday's show without a doubt. Thank you, sir. Tom is on the line. How are you, sir?
Great show, Reese. A wonderful show.
Thank you, my friend. What do you got for me?
Does the Bible say God gave Israel to the Jews over 2,000 years ago? Thank you.
Yes, it does, and thank you for the call. I guess he just wanted to get that in. Hey, George is in St. Louis. How we doing, George?
Hi, Reese. Just 2 words. Harris lost.
Yeah.
And let me go on to what I wanted to talk about. They build the houses wrong in the hurricane zones.
Really?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, anything that has an edge to it, the wind will catch it and blow it apart. The way the houses should be built in a hurricane zone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the shape of a frisbee?
Yeah, sure.
You know, that saucer shape.
Sure.
That has equal dynamic pressure on all sides because of the same shape. The houses should be built in the shape of a frisbee, raised about 15 feet above the surface to allow for the storm surge. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Sure.
1 cubic foot of water, 62.43 pounds per cubic foot. That's what's coming at you with the heavy rain, with the heavy storm surge, and the 130-mile-an-hour winds. So, in other words, with that wind and water,
that kind of velocity, yeah,
it's going to destroy just about anything. You know, it's going to knock most definitely knock you off your feet.
I have to admit, George, I've never understood it. It's I have the same question about people who live in like northern Buffalo, like even Rochester for that matter, as I do about people who are in the hurricane zone or in the tornado zone. I don't know how people continue to live in those communities knowing what they know and knowing that it's not it's a season for a reason, right? It keeps coming back.
They're simply not building the structures correctly.
What?
That's the shape that'll take the high wind, the storms,
But do you think people will buy them? See, you have to hear me out, though, George. I get where you're coming from, right? If the structures are built the way that would be wind resistant to these storms, the question then becomes, does that, because I always talk about the marketability, right? I can make the most efficient home in that area and tell them, look, if you buy this home, not only is it a great investment, but in the event of a storm, those 130 mile per hour winds won't damage your home. You won't lose it. Does the guy turn around and say, go ahead, I'm sorry. Well, what's your argument? I haven't finished the question.
I have the argument for you.
Yes.
Many people in the last hurricane lost their house 13 months ago. They lost their house. Now they lost it all over again 13 months later, all because the structure was wrong. It's that simple. If you rebuild, you got to rebuild something in the shape of the aerodynamic.
But wait a minute, what if see what I would like to do is I would like to see one of these houses, like what the structure looks like, and if
it would look like a frisbee on stilts. That's the best way to put it.
Again, I want to know, based upon that structure on stilts, if you could, if somebody showed me what that house would look like, I would like to do a survey of asking people, potential home buyers, whether or not that's something you want. Because part of the reason why you buy a home is curb appeal, right? And the curb appeal is it matters.
It's curb appeal. It's what you're used. It's what you're used to.
Right.
But
right.
I think eventually this will get acceptability as it catches on.
If there's a structure that you can show me, George, I would love to see it. That, like a model of it or even like a blueprint of what it would look like. And like I said, I'll take a look at it. I'll even post it here so people can look at it and tell me what they think. Because I think that's part of the problem with buying a home.
I believe it is on the internet.
Okay.
You would probably have to look under saucer-shaped houses.
Okay.
Something like that. But that's survivable. And it's
I agree with you.
Because of the conditions I told you.
Listen to me. It's the same reason why I say I don't understand how people live in high-risers. I think Chris Rock said that on Saturday Night Live after September 11th, when he was like, after September 11th, how do you go into another tall building downtown again? It was meant to be funny, but to be honest with you, it's a little irreverent, right? You have to think about it on that level. It's like we become conditioned by the events.
It reminds me of dogs living at the dog pound. That's what you've created in the city.
Yeah, it's true.
Dogs stacked upon dogs. Yeah,
indeed. Thank you, George. I appreciate it. It's something to ponder. Like I said, if it's because again, I don't understand how people live in that zone. I have two friends who live, one in Orlando, and of course, White Mike, who lives in the Tampa area. He loves it there. I know he'll never leave, and he'll go through a rough storm here and there, but he never complains about it. He just deals with it, and then he moves on, and it's back to life as usual. So, like I said, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. When we come back, I've got to what was the story I wanted to get into? I just had it in front of me. Oh, we got to talk about tissues for Tim. That's a real thing. Make sure that you participate in that. We'll give you the address so that you can send tissues to the Friendly Hand Food Bank. And that's a new program we're doing called Tissues for Tim. We're going to do that. The 5 o'clock focus is also coming up. I'll give you my breakdown of that. We're trying to get in touch with a state senator, but I haven't heard from his office yet. I'm going to try them one more time, right? So we'll get into that. And a whole lot more. Yeah, stick around for the 5 o'clock focus because someone's going to have to, if you're in the school, or like if you work as a teacher or maybe you're in the teachers union, I'd like to hear from you in the 5 o'clock focus because I'll tease it in the next break or so. I've got a question about this September surge that happened at 7 o'clock this morning in New Haven? I want to ask about that. But we'll get into that in a bit. Let's get back to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. How them roads looking, Mark?
Well, we're a little bit slow in the Waterbury area right now. Reese, thank you very much. If you're on the westbound side of 84, looking at a crash at exit 25. The right lane is out there, delays back to the 691 interchange behind it. So very heavy there, heading from Cheshire into Waterbury. 84 eastbound, a little slow in Waterbury by 18. If you're heading toward Hartford right now, looking at the southbound side of 91, delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Another bumped up by exit 28. Northbound 91, easy ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84, okay. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Arrowconey Bridge. Heading toward Danbury, 84 eastbound slows 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound tight. Approaching 10 up to exit 11. South 95 New Haven tight from 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got dry, tranquil weather to enjoy on this final day of September with a mixture of clouds and sunshine at a high in the upper 70s. It's warmer than what we typically find for the end of this month. We begin this evening partly cloudy. It'll tend to become mostly cloudy later tonight with a low of 54. And clouds and a few peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Not as warm as today. Tomorrow's high at 72 degrees. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 50 to 55. Cold front will cross the area late tomorrow night, Wednesday morning. The front will probably come through dry. Can't rule out a stray shower. Mostly cloudy and cooler on Wednesday with a high of 68. And then cooler weather Wednesday night. Partly cloudy with a low of 53. Upper 40s across many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice. Sunshine and a few clouds. High 74. Then partly cloudy Thursday night, low 54. And we look for dry, warmer weather to end the week. Partly sunny on Friday with a high of 78. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus local talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080 on your radio, your smart speaker, and the free Odyssey app. And now, a WTIC News Update.
73 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Barring a successful appeal, Payer College in Bridgeport will not reopen this fall. The State Office of Higher Education has denied an application to open by the for-profit art school. Officials say the college failed to meet state standards, and they've received complaints from unpaid faculty. Vice presidential candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance meets in a CBS News debate tomorrow night. CBS's Nancy Cordes on preparations by the Republican.
We are told that J.D. Vance has been holding murder board sessions. That's where basically all your top advisors, which includes his wife, Usha, who is an attorney herself, they're peppering you with questions. They're throwing all kinds of questions at you to see how you handle them because you never really know what you're going to get asked. There have been some mock debates as well with Congressman Tom Emmer, who is from Minnesota, so he is very familiar with Tim Walz, who is the governor of Minnesota, so he's been playing Walz just to give Vance a feeling for what that's going to be like.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been playing the role of Vance as Democrat Tim Walz gets ready. You can hear the debate live on WTIC. Senator Chris Murphy's office says the senator is in Mexico City with the U.S. presidential delegation. They're attending the inauguration of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. Officials tell the AP Israel has launched small ground raids in Lebanon and a larger ground operation is being planned.
If Israel is to mount this ground invasion, it comes after days and days of Israel making these warnings. But on the other side of that border with Lebanon await tens of thousands of Hezbollah fighters, many of them hardened by fighting in Syria, not to mention tens of thousands of rockets.
CBS's Chris Livesay. It remains a crisis in and around Asheville, North Carolina, as officials try to get more water, food, and other supplies to flood-stricken areas. Many remain without power or cell service in the wake of Hurricane Helene. The death toll in the south is at more than 120, 30 of those in the county that includes Asheville. CVS of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, says it will cut another 2,900 jobs nationwide. Some of those layoffs could impact Aetna, which is based in Hartford and is owned by CVS. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 17 points. S&P was plus 24. NASDAQ up 69 points. Excuse me. The New York Mets are in the playoffs. In the first of two in Atlanta, they scored 6 in the 8th inning. Then Francisco Lindor launched a 2-run homer in the 9th, and the Mets win 8-7. They'll play again in a few minutes. The Braves will be out of the playoffs if they lose again today. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
1 minute. At your Leaf Filter Trusted Pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to today. Coming right in. Inspection and estimate, and you
Got it.
could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We got a lot of news and a lot of views to get to, so make sure that you get on the phones at 860-522-WTIC, especially for the 5 o'clock focus. Don't forget, we've got tissues for Tim. Just send your tissue. Doesn't matter. Toilet paper, facial tissue, you know, the stuff to wipe your tears. Yeah, send them to 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut. That's 50 King Street in Torrington, Connecticut, zip code 06790. I'm dead serious about this. If you've got some extra tissue, some toilet paper that you would like to donate, you can send it over to the Friendly Hands Food Bank. And, of course, you can send food as well. Your canned goods are always appreciated there. Our good friends Karen Thomas Our good friend Karen Thomas is there waiting for your supplies. In fact, I heard here they're moving to a new facility. I think that's the new facility, in fact. So if you've got some tissues to send for Tim, just send them with a little note that says, hey, this is for Tim. She'll know exactly what to do with them. So make sure you get them out there to it. The 5 o'clock focus, if you've heard about the September surge, this is an interesting thing. I'm not the biggest advocate for education in this country. I don't know whether or not you know that. I do believe people should be educated. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be confusing here. I believe that everyone should be educated in this country. I do not believe that our education system is up to snuff. In fact, I think it's god-awful. And many people would agree. In fact, most of you would agree with me. But the September surge, what this is all about, are teachers who are holding protests with children and with parents to get more funding at the schools. And I think that this is bogus. Why do they need more money? Is it for the students? I've seen a lot of reports on NBC Connecticut, WFSB, Hartford Current, and it seems to be pretty vague what this money's for. But what I found even more interesting was a quote from Gary Winfield. And I'll tell you about that quote in the 5 o'clock focus, because this is where I think it's nonsense. Gary Winfield, State Senator Gary Winfield, brought up equity. And that's when I knew this was bull. So we'll talk about that, and we'll have our 5 o'clock focus in a little bit to discuss what exactly is the September surge. Get on the phones. It'll be after 5 o'clock that we'll discuss. Now, back to Mark Christopher at BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. And if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, overall, we're in decent shape. Southbound 91, look for slow traffic 33 down to 32 A and B. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, looking good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Berkeley Bridge, East Hartford out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing, 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing, Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84 in Waterbury, we had an accident by exit 25. It looks like that is out of there now. It was in the right lane, but heavy delays back to the 691 interchange in Cheshire up to exit 25. That should start to ease out a little bit now that the accident's gone. 84 eastbound a little slow by 18. 84 eastbound Danbury, some slow traffic by 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing by 9 in Newtown, and again 10 to 11 in Newtown. South 95 New Haven tight 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Intervals of clouds, sun the rest of today, and a high in the mid and upper 70s. Partly cloudy for a time this evening, mostly cloudy later tonight, low 54. Clouds and occasional sun tomorrow, not as warm as today, high 72. It'll stay mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low 50 to 55. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a little cooler, high 68. Nice weather on Thursday, partly sunny, high 74. Currently at 75 degrees in Meriden, and 74 in Torrington, 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Mark, and my family's from Bristol. Allaire Elder Law met my #1 goal when I decided to work with them, to make sure my parents and their assets were protected legally so they can enjoy the rest of their time together and not worry about becoming one of the Title 19 horror stories. And our family cannot thank them enough.
Find out more at AllaireElderLaw.com. That's ALLAIRE.
Getting quality employees to your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need.
All right, we start
sends you a
with
list of great
Ralph
matches
and
to
Andrew,
review,
right?
Then actively invites them to apply for.
Ralph gone, Andrew is still there.
Okay, so
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It is your girl Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
We are back. And it's time to get directly into your phone calls. But before we do that, let me just say this. I've got to talk about the longshoremen because there's a strike that's looming 12:01 tonight, Tuesday morning. This shutdown is going to affect everyone. Although it's happening on the East Coast, it is going to be a serious strike that's going to cost billions of dollars a day. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I've got some audio from the ILA president that I want to play for you. And I noticed that no one in Washington is talking about it, not even Donald Trump. At least I haven't heard. If somebody has, please let me know. But I haven't heard much talk about it. And this is going to be a serious strike should it happen. But I've got some audio about that as well, so stick around for that. Let's go back to the phones. Andrew is in New Britain. How you doing, Andrew? Thanks for holding.
Hi, real good, Reese. Good show today. Good to hear you on the radio. I had a real interesting weekend. This weekend, on Friday I got my utility bill, and I was pretty ripped. I got the 30% punch in the face again. Second month in a row. With the public benefits portion thing, making me pay for people that don't care to pay their bills.
Well, it's more than that, but yes, that's part of it.
Oh yeah. So I wasn't gonna put up with it, because I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. I did what I think everybody should do. On the bottom portion there's a white. There's plenty of like white space. I wrote November 5, bye bye Democrats, and I put an emphasis on the rats, I pinned it around my neck, okay, and went around to like a couple of farmers markets, a few like to Orchard, the place. Et cetera, et cetera. And I just asked people, some people looked and laughed. I got posted on Instagram, a dozen times. People wanted to take a photo. And I spoke to a bunch of people, and I'll tell you something. I found out a couple of things. If you have even a small business, or you're a farmer, okay, or you raise horses or livestock or something like that, your bill is over $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're paying more than $300. Okay, a lot of these people are like $1,500 in for doing minor industry, like even like anything more than a hobby.
I think the objective is to destroy industry, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the ILA president's remarks. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to hurt the smallest of small businesses, who in essence are, they're not making much of a profit. Those guys aren't seeing 20% profits. If those guys are lucky, they're making 2 to 5% in profit margins in their industry. They're just, they're taking care of their family, and some of them are in the red. Even, but yeah, I think it's primarily focused to destroy those businesses, and I don't think that them or Pura, I don't think anybody cares. I don't think they give two damns.
I learned two interesting things though. I did go to West Hartford, and most people were just kind of, I think, terrified at the idea of this, hurting Democrats.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people in West Hartford and Glastonbury. They could afford their liberalism, but what I'm surprised at is the callousness, okay, of knowing that this is something which is destroying, smaller people, people with less well, the guys that don't drive a Range Rover, for example. They're on the edge of losing their house. They're on the edge of being forced out of their town or out of the state.
I think that for them, that's a necessary casualty in all of this. But again, remember, the green agenda is more important to them than it is. And remember, it's supposed to be in the downstream of all of this nonsense. It's supposed to make life better for everybody in the end. And of course, they'll be, taking care of Mother Earth and cleaning the environment. Andrew, let me move on. I appreciate you, sir. Jefferson Marlboro, how you doing, sir?
Hey, doing all right, Reese. How you doing, buddy?
All right.
Yeah, so you had a caller earlier talking about those homes that should be built like a disc, like a frisbee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sort of made me. I'm not calling to agree or disagree with that, but
okay.
It just sort of made me think of another weather-prone area, city. And then I heard you talking, I believe it was last night on yesterday on the 1 o'clock show.
Yeah.
About your hometown.
Oh, New York City. I said how I wanted to burn to the ground. Yes.
Right. So I got another city.
Yeah.
All right. The city of New Orleans. We should just shut those pumps off and let that mother get covered by the sea like the lost city of Atlantis.
Is it really that bad in New Orleans? Because I know somebody's going to have a problem with that. That's our esteemed producer,
Yeah,
Roland.
he's crazy.
Just let it go, man.
He's crazy. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Wait. Let's hear him out, Roland. We need to understand why he wants it to fall off into the sea. Why should New Orleans be the new city of Atlantis?
That thing is every other year. It's flooding. It's billions of dollars in damage. People shouldn't live there. It's dangerous. People die there every year.
It is a little dangerous, Roland.
They die everywhere. What are you talking about?
That's not a reason to Roland. That's not a defense that they die everywhere. So let's just let them die there. It's okay. Look, there are plenty of places that we can turn into beachfront property, much less, we can all turn it into a tourist attraction. People can go scuba diving and look at the old, hey, look at that. That's the old Hard Rock Cafe New Orleans underwater. It's a great...
Man, the biggest thing I worry about when the power goes out is if I'm going to be able to cook dinner that night. Not if the city's going to get flooded by 100 feet of seawater.
Yeah, look. When Hurricane Katrina hit, and Hurricane Rita thereafter, I was starting to think, what's the deal? I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, we could be being harsh. I don't want to disparage Roland's. Is that your hometown? Is it New Orleans your hometown, or just Louisiana is your home?
No, it's New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay. We're not crap. Don't get defensive. We're just kidding. It's all right. I'm from New York. I want to see that thing burned to the ground. I'm sick and tired of that city. That city's just embarrassing itself over and over again. Jeff, I got to move on. I think we've upset the producer. He's gonna rearrange. He's gonna start playing polka music in my rotation now. I've already upset him. Fred is in Middletown. How you doing, Fred?
Hey, good. So I'm calling from the English language research department.
Okay.
You said earlier, that Trump was looking for reparations.
Yeah.
And I think you were looking for either two words.
Or restitution?
Exoneration or vindication.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I said, for lack of a better word, I did say. But you're absolutely right. Thank you. The English department is always on it. Thank you for keeping me honest.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
We got it. Joe is in New Hampshire. Yeah, we got time to take Joe. How are you?
Hi, Reverend Reese. Can I ask you a question?
You can.
Now, you're too young to remember, but you've heard of Woodstock, 1969?
I was born the day before.
Wow.
August 14th, 1969. Woodstock was from 15th to the 17th.
Right. I remember it. I had a chance to go, but my mother wouldn't let me. I didn't really want to go that badly because I thought it would be overcrowded. That was an understatement. But here's the thing. If you had been, let's say, 20 years old or thereabouts, do you think you would have wanted to go back then?
Considering what my 20s were like, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, this is leading into a big question that you have control over right now. The rescheduling of Trump's Butler, Pennsylvania is coming Saturday.
Yes, I do know.
And I have sources all over. And the general opinion is, I think there was about 30,000 the day he was assassinated.
The assassination attempt, sir.
Yeah, I think it was about 30,000 or so there that day. And the radius of people drawn in was probably 40, 50, 60 miles, generally speaking. Well, there are people all over the country planning. They're leaving now. They want to be there. It's going to be the biggest event since Woodstock. In other words, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people are planning on attending this thing. And
I think it's going to be bigger. I think you're right. I think this thing, you're 100% right. I should make a pilgrimage there. But from what I understand, at least the talk that this is going to make Wildwood, New Jersey look like a town hall meeting. By comparison.
Yeah, Wildwood is about 110, 120,000.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is something that everyone wants to go to, so as to speak. A lot of people think there's going to be an event there. They think something's going to happen, like a drone.
No, listen, I think the American people are treating this or at least Trump supporters are treating this like a collective screw you to the establishment and to the events that happened on July 13th. I think that's the reason why they're there. In essence, is supportive of him, even if they don't get close enough, even if they'll be, a mile away from where he'll actually stand. I think the objective is to be at that place because, again, as human beings, we like to we're event oriented. As you mentioned in Woodstock, it's like, where were you when? That's the reason why I think that were you there when Trump went back? And I think you're right in the sense of if you can make a pilgrimage there, you will. I'd love to be there. I just can't that weekend. But yeah, you're right. For a news event, you go there not even for Donald Trump. You go there to talk to the people who have shown up there and traveled across the country to be a part of it, and sort of get a tone of what's there, like to find out, hey, why are you here? What made you come down to this place? Why is this historic to you? What's the importance or the relevance of you being here? And sort of get that. And I think the news media, even though they're going to cover it, it's going to be impossible for them to spin it. They may try to, but it'll be impossible. And I think they'll be remarked by, they will be affected by the energy of the people who were there. And I think the presence of all of those people there, Joe, will sort of be this collective condemnation of the media who went above and beyond to downplay it. And they'll get a taste of that.
I plan on making an attempt. I plan on making an attempt to be there, but I'm going to have to be with a few of the people I know here. I'm not going to go by myself.
Yeah.
Probably be 6 or 7 of us.
Well, I don't think if you went by yourself, and, like I said, when I was at the protest or Stop the Steal protest on January 6th in Washington, I went there with one guy two people actually, who had traveled up from North Carolina to Virginia. And then we went there, and I'll admit, I went around all of those people. I got to know so many people. I exchanged so many phone numbers, and I actually garnered a lot of listeners to my podcast that day. It was one of the most pro-American and pro-social things I've ever been a part of, and I'm not really a social guy. So, like I said, if you were to go by yourself, I promise you'd be well taken care of, and people would show you love. I think you'd enjoy it.
Well, the thing that worries me, the people that are out to assassinate Trump, the Iranians, for instance, you heard about the report from the border last week, a week or so ago.
Yeah.
They intercepted dozens of surface-to-air missiles that originated from the Middle East, but they fear a lot of them got through to the interior with the single intent to bring down Donald Trump's plane. Wherever it might be on a given day, they're setting these things up in remote areas to try to get his plane as he's traveling. And then they're talking about a drone attack. They've got weaponized. They've intercepted.
Yeah,
think like a terrorist. If you get a million Trump supporters out at one event, think like the terrorists think.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, I'm losing you for some odd reason, man, but thanks for the call as always. There's a lot of that stuff that, like I said, it worries me. I try not to let it in. I don't want to be that paranoid guy. I just don't want to be that paranoid guy. Try not to be paranoid. I just want everything to just go smoothly. Let's just get to election day by day. Wake up every morning. All right, let's get her done. It'll be fine. Gosh, I didn't even get to play this. The ILA president. We'll do it in a little bit. Maybe we'll do it in the second half hour after the 5 o'clock focus. I got to play this for you because it's what's going to happen if indeed this strike happens at midnight. It's going to be pretty serious. You thought that the supply chain on the West Coast was bad. This is going to be worse. And I've got emails from, or at least a text message from someone who is a business owner, a store owner here in Connecticut. And he and many other store owners are very concerned about what's going to happen at midnight because it's going to be billions of dollars lost per day if this supply chain gets cut off. And the automation is killing it, really killing it. Can I play? Yeah, I can play a little bit of it. Well, no, I gotta wait. We'll play it in the next half hour. Stick around. We'll play it. It is, why is my name's escaping me? I had it ready, and now, of course, I'm sitting up here scrambling because it's not in front of me, which I should do a better job at being prepared for this stuff. His name is Harold Daggert. He is the ILA president. That's his name. Harold Daggard. And we'll play him in about 5:30. 5:30 hour or 5:30 talk break. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're traveling into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28 on the Hartford-Wethersfield line. Northbound 91, no issues. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing East Hartford, approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbounds moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury. Look for some slow traffic now, pretty much approaching the exit 26 area in Cheshire, all the way up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. That was kicked off from an earlier accident, now clear. 84 eastbound in Danbury, tight by 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing in Newtown, 9 to 11. South 95, New Haven, tight 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got dry, tranquil weather to enjoy on this final day of September with a mixture of clouds and sunshine at a high in the upper 70s. It's warmer than what we typically find for the end of this month. We begin this evening partly cloudy. It'll tend to become mostly cloudy later tonight with a low of 54. The clouds and a few peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Not as warm as today. Tomorrow's high at 72 degrees. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 50 to 55. Cold front will cross the area late tomorrow night, Wednesday morning. The front will probably come through dry. Can't rule out a stray shower. Mostly cloudy and cooler on Wednesday with a high of 68. And then cooler weather Wednesday night. Partly cloudy with a low of 53. Upper 40s across many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice. Sunshine and a few clouds. High 74. Then partly cloudy Thursday night. Low 54. And we look for dry, warmer weather to end the week. Partly sunny on Friday with a high of 78. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
73 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. United Illuminating is looking to raise electric rates again. The company is asking state regulators for permission to raise another $100 million in revenue. The company blames what it calls an adverse rate decision made last year by the state. If the increase is approved, customer rates could go up 10%. Officials tell the AP Israel has launched small ground raids in Lebanon. A larger ground operation is being planned. Israel has been on the offense against the Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah and others. CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd.
Israel has methodically been striking and assassinating the leadership of Iranian-backed proxy groups, terrorist groups, for several weeks now, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or other Iranian proxy groups. This has had an impact on these proxy groups' command and control structure and its capabilities. In addition to that, the pager and walkie-talkie attack that Israel reportedly launched earlier this month did also wound likely thousands of Hezbollah fighters. So it is certainly the case that these terrorist proxy groups' capabilities have been diminished.
The death toll from Hurricane Helene is at least 120 in 6 states. It's been tough to get supplies to isolated areas, including parts of western North Carolina.
President Biden made a promise to those who have lost so much to Helene.
We're not leaving until the job is done. I also want you to know, I'm committed to traveling to the impacted areas as soon as possible, but I've been told that it would be disruptive if I did it right now.
Rescue efforts are still ongoing, and some areas like Asheville, North Carolina, remain cut off with no power or cell service since the storm hit. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says the death toll could rise as crews reach areas that have been cut off. The name of the 1-year-old girl killed in a Berlin 3-car crash Saturday has been released. Ella Salgado of Meriden suffered fatal injuries in the collision at the intersection of the Berlin Turnpike and North Colony Road. 2 adults and 2 other children in the same vehicle are expected to recover. Democratic Congressman Joe Courtney seeks re-election in the state's 2nd district. His challenger, Republican Mike France, says production at Electric Boat is not living up to Courtney's promises.
He loves this title of Two Sub Joe. You know, that is purely a political slogan now, since for the last 6 years, we've only delivered one submarine per year. And not only does he not solve that problem, I don't think he even understands the why. Why are we not delivering on the contracts that have been delivered, 2 submarines per year?
Courtney says that's all changing.
Just a couple of weeks ago, the USS New Jersey was delivered, Virginia-class submarine, and later in the month of October, USS Iowa is going to be delivered to the Navy. In 2025, we're going to see Massachusetts and Idaho delivered, and in 2026, Arkansas and Utah delivered.
Courtney blames post-pandemic challenges for the delays. Both candidates were heard on WTIC's Brian and Company. Barring a successful appeal, Payer College in Bridgeport will not reopen this fall. The State Office of Higher Education has denied an application to open by the for-profit art school. Officials say the college failed to meet state standards, and they've received complaints from unpaid faculty. Rough day for auto stocks.
Chrysler and Jeep owner Stellantis led a wave of automakers slashing their 2024 earnings forecasts, resulting in a sell-off for the sector. Stellantis says its second-half shipments are down significantly after its U.S. sales in the second quarter plunged more than 20%, and that's forcing it to limit dealer inventories sooner than it originally expected. British luxury car maker Aston Martin Lagonda also cut its profit forecast on weaker than expected demand in 2024.
Stellantis down more than 12% today. CVS Corp of Rhode Island says it will cut another 2,900 jobs nationwide. Some of those layoffs could impact Hartford-based Aetna. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 17 points. S&P closed up 24. The NASDAQ was up 70 points. Sports, the Mets are in the playoffs in the first of 2 in Atlanta. They scored 6 in the 8th inning. Then in the 9th inning, Francisco Lindor launched a winning 2-run homer. The Mets beat the Braves 8-7. Game 2 is scoreless in the first. The Braves will be out of the playoffs if they lose again. WNBA playoffs, Game 2 tomorrow. The Sun at Minnesota. Connecticut took Game 1. And Basketball Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has died of brain cancer. He was 58 years old. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Dan Andelman here. You probably know me as the Phantom Gourmet guy, so you know I love food. But to be honest, after years of sampling every dish under the sun, it was starting to take a toll on my health. Now listen, I'm not going to completely give up all my favorite foods, and that's where Awaken 180 comes in. 3 weeks in, and I'm already down 18 pounds, and I'm still hitting up plenty of great restaurants. The difference is that I'm making smarter choices, tweaking some recipes, and I'm saving up for my grand finale, because once I hit my goal of losing 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, it's a whole new ball game. All foods are back on the menu, baby. Awaken 180 isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. They've helped me understand my body and my metabolism, and if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can. So if you're ready to transform your relationship with food, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. I'm focused, man. The 5 o'clock focus has to deal with the September surge. Now, it turns out that today, COVID-19 funding in the state ran out. And now, schools are asking for another $35 million in some cases. And I think all in all, they even want more than that, according to the report from WFSB. Here was Mark Robbins of WFSB talking about it just this morning.
It's called the September Surge, and it's an effort to bring together students, parents, teachers, administrators, and elected officials all coming together to demonstrate and bring about what they say is an awareness, a need for additional state and federal funding of public schools. And again, they expect it to begin at 7 o'clock this morning. Today's the last day of federal COVID-19 pandemic funding. New Haven Public Schools received about $127 million during the funding period, but it ends today. Rallies are going to be here at the Metropolitan Business Academy, the Brennan Rogers Magnet School.
What do they need this extra money for? They say they need federal funding, but I don't hear anyone talking about what the funding is going to. And an interesting narrative in all of this, in the FSB, this is Connecticut, I apologize. This is from NBC Connecticut. Here's one quote by Gary Winfield, Senator Gary Winfield of West Haven. It's not important, it's imperative that the state function in a way to help these people. We talk a lot about the issue of equity. Equity is something that you do in addition to what you've already done to make up for things you haven't done well in the past. That requires more, not less. What in the hell is he talking about? And I want to know. Do you know? Let me know. It's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Now, to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Southbound 91 delays, 33 down to 32 A&B. Another bump down by exit 28. Northbound 91, good ride, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Boakley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic now. About a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, okay. Two eastbound, moving well, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, moving well through downtown Middletown, a little tap of the brakes at the Aragodi Bridge. If you're westbound 84, you'll see delays approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound running a little slow by exit 5 in Danbury. Again, some slow traffic 9 to 11 in Newtown. South 95 in New Haven slows 46 down to 44. And south on the Parkway, a little tight getting by exit 60 in Hamden. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
Partly cloudy as we begin this evening, mostly cloudy during the overnight, low 54. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, a high of 72. It'll stay mostly cloudy tomorrow night and Wednesday. Low tomorrow night, 50 to 55. High Wednesday, 68. Partly sunny on Thursday and pleasant, high 74. Currently, it is 72 degrees in Farmington, 69 in Bristol, and 71 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Men, here are some statistics about erectile dysfunction. First, half of men over age 50 have it, with even more of us affected as we get into our 60s and beyond. ED can also impact younger men, even in their 30s, which makes it one of the most pervasive conditions in medicine. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and statistics are one thing, but it's the emotional toll on relationships and the impacts on a man's confidence and self-esteem that are the true tragedies of erectile dysfunction. This is why you need to get treated for your ED, but where you get treated is just as important as getting treated, because who you trust for your health care is critical. At Northeast Men's Health, men's sexual health is our focus. Our providers are experts in treating ED, and we offer the complete range of treatment options with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can get your sex life back. So call us. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movie? Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. Legacybox.com/value.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
I don't ever get it. I never believe it. I always think it's bogus, especially when the teachers union starts asking for more money. And the part that always really sort of like gets me to this point of being suspicious is when they call it education funding. But then when you start to read what it's all about, it's nothing but employment opportunity, right? Some of it, they're talking about transportation. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by transportation. Are they buying buses with this money? Are they hiring bus drivers with this money? Then just say you're having a bus driver shortage. That makes sense to me. But they keep using terms like education funding. Here it is. Teachers in New Haven are pushing for more federal funding for education as pandemic relief runs out today. And they held rallies at 3 schools in the city. Quote, we already didn't have enough. Like we already don't have the things that we need to meet our students' needs and to deliver the world-class education that they deserve. This is what a teacher said, Miss Izzy Geller. Now, what is it that what's hindering you from teaching the students? They never say what it is. So I'm looking for someone to explain to me what is hindering you that you need more money for. I mean, is it school books? Then let's see if we can get someone to donate school books. I don't know. My point is, let's stop throwing good money into bad ideas. And the money, I don't see this money going to kids. It never does. They talk about how much money American schools spend per student. That money never goes to the kid. The kid isn't housed at the facility. Maybe they get, the free lunch program. But what's it costing you to feed a kid, even if it's 3 times a day? Right? If you had the after-school program, how much is that food cost? I don't see it. I just don't see it. What else? Are we clothing the children? What is all this money going to? We believe it shouldn't just take a pandemic to ensure that schools where we work to serve and where our students attend are fully funded. This is Leslie Blatow. If I'm pronouncing that poorly, Leslie, my apologies. She's the president of the New Haven Federation of Teachers. In June, they managed to find a grant to cover $10 million, but are still $2 million short this year. That led to cuts in transportation and staff who retired and were not replaced. Okay, so we have a teacher shortage. All right, that makes sense. So we need money to hire more teachers. Okay, what's that going to cost us? I thought you teachers were getting the bare minimum. I thought you teachers were complaining about how you don't get paid enough, right, for the jobs you do. So you're trying to hire more teachers to get crappy pay. Okay, all right. I'm sure that there are some people out there who really are enthusiastic about teaching who would be happy to get paid scraps. But I don't know. Maybe I'm the one who's bugging out here. Whatever. The Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund that came from the government is expiring today. So the rallies are part of a nationwide multi-city push for swift action in Congress to approve an act. It would provide additional funding through 2031 for schools with high concentration of low-income students. Okay? Also, not understanding what that means. So we need more money for low-income students? Come on, can't we just give the low-income students the bare minimum? That's what you've been doing. Your graduation rates show it. Your promotion rates show it. The reading and writing, what do you call it? What do you call those things? The testing. They show the same thing. These kids are failing. Barely any of these kids can read or write. What are we giving you more money to fail more kids? I say that's throwing good money into bad ideas. We're banking on saving at least $1 million in transportation. We're not there yet with the $1 million. So some of our ideas are now going to completely pan out of the way that we had hoped. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so we are still trying to mitigate the budget. Teachers also say that there are clear disparities between school districts. Quote, there are some schools and some school districts that are able to fully fund and offer students a wide range of incredible opportunities. Please explain what those are. That seems like a platitude. I don't hear any specifics. What are these incredible opportunities? Other than computers, like, are we giving these secondary school kids jobs, careers? What do you mean opportunities? And then there are other districts like New Haven, where we have to continue to cut year after year. What are they cutting? The rallies were held at the Metropolitan Business Academy on Water Street, Fairhaven School, and the Grand Avenue at Brendan Rogers Magnet School on Wilmont Road. Your phone call. Somebody explain this to me. I don't get it. What am I missing? What are they spending the money on? Because during COVID, the schools were closed down. What were we paying for with closed schools? Heating? Air conditioning? I don't know. Back to the phone. Lori is in Glastonbury. She's a teacher, or at least she was. Lori, you're a teacher, right?
I was a high school English teacher for 9 years at a small private school.
Okay.
But I have some insight on some of the things.
Please.
So some of the funding goes towards things that the state mandates that the school district has to pay for.
Okay.
But those are those shouldn't be they can be kind of the majority of a school's budget. They really can.
What are those things?
Those mandates can just handicap a school system. I haven't kept up with what some of the latest mandates are.
Okay, well, give me some of the mandates that you may have been privy to in your 9 years.
Oh, gosh. Dude, did I mention that I'm 55 and that, it was a long time ago?
Okay, all right. Well, I'll put it to you this way. Okay, here's my question. Does that budget see one kid? Does any of that budget actually go to students, or does it actually take care of, teachers' pay, hiring other staffers, custodians, SRO? SO is it? What do you call those? The police officers. SROs. Yeah. What are the things that what are the things that some of these budgets pay for outside of the salary that the teachers are already getting? Because that stuff's mandated.
Some of them are for extra programming, they wanted to do reading programs and math programs. So now you need tutors, and you need to buy the Lexia program for the kids to work on their reading, and you need tutors to work with the kids with Alexia. And so it becomes kind of a domino effect. But I wanted to kind of also say, for working at a small private school, I didn't need a lot of money to be able to teach my students what I needed to teach them. And I think the bigger, obviously it's yeah, sure, let's throw money when the families themselves are not investing their students in the schools.
Right.
So we're not going to deal with the cultural issues. We're just going to start to throw good money after bad, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And so what needs to happen is what they've been talking about, getting rid of the National Department of Education, and requiring more from the states in terms of audits for exactly what are you spending money on and what are your school systems spending money on. You guys need to manage what's happening in your state, and then I would love to see the state require audits for every single school system as to what they're spending the money on. And then, you want more money? Great. Bring up your test scores.
Exactly.
It needs to be. That's exactly how the system should work. It should be meritorious.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lori. I knew somebody was going to be able to explain this to me, at least in some level, and would agree with some of the things that I'm saying. I don't think that there are checks and balances within the schools, any district for that matter. I don't think it's nothing to do with New Haven. I just don't think that any school system has been living up to the standards that you would hold any business, because again, they are producing a product, and that is the education of these children, and they just keep asking for more and more money, and I never hear what it's about. And it's the news media just we'll send out a press release, and the news media will go out and just read it like it's a talking point, or they're stenographers for whatever program that they want. It makes no sense to me.
Right. And the other problem is that I know people who are working in public school systems, and everything is so corrupt, and the curriculum that they're teaching kids it's not rudimentary.
Yeah.
And so now you want to put more money into, so what kind of garbage are you going to try to sneak in now that you will need more money for?
Yep.
That's the other issue.
Yeah. And it's always, they'll tell us we want to get the kids computers. I'm like, every kid's got a computer now. All right. It's ridiculous at this point. Thank you, Lori. Let's go to Robert in Cheshire. How you doing, Robert?
We're doing great, Reese. And just a brief one, and perhaps you've already mentioned, I haven't been able to dial in today.
Okay.
The purchase by Soros of some of the bankrupt paper of Odyssey, and how does that affect you? And you may not be able to talk about it, but I think it's an important thing for all of us that believe in the free market of radio-free Odyssey.
I said this before, even when the news broke. The first thing that I said was that the minute that I have something to report, I would be the first to report it. I haven't been told in no way whatsoever or any shape and form that, again, me as a work product, and I look at it this way, Robert, as a work product, if you, no matter who it is that owns this company, if you don't see any value in what it is that I bring to the network, or in fact, if I bring no value to the network, cut me like a dirty shoelace. The way that I look at it. You know what I mean? So I get where most people's concern is on that front, but my view is it's not so much that we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but when I start seeing the signs, in other words, if I start seeing that the bridge is out, if you get my meaning. But I totally, and I understand it because people have been asking about it. I've been hedging on discussing it because everybody's always concerned, like, oh, make sure you don't say this. And no, I'm not coming at it in any particular way. I'm coming at this exactly what the product. Someone had to find value in what we do in order to want to be a part of what we do. But if there's something else going on, we'll find out. We'll know. But I can't say here nor there.
That's coming down to the work product, as you say. It kind of is. It appears, based on a couple of headlines I've looked at, nothing more, that the Democrats have fast-paced it through just before the election to make sure that they have perhaps that one little bit more control. Don't know.
Like I said, and you're 100% right to bring it up because again, on the outside of the layers, it looks like there's this being said or this being done. And I said, people have asked me about it. It's like, well, are you concerned? I'm like, no, I don't have to be yet. I think I'm prepared, as I am with any job, especially in news media or even in radio. I always say to myself, my work product has got to be an example of whether or not I stay or whether or not I go. If people are not interested and I suck, I'll be out the door. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. I'm going to be the arbiter of whether or not I stay here or I don't.
You get one vote here from Cheshire for doing a great job. Thanks for what you do.
Much appreciated. And I thank everyone who feels the same way. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you, sir. Yeah, teachers, folks, someone's got to explain it to me. Because I know that the budget never goes to the kids. And I know a lot of parents who often make that claim. Wait a minute, is the money going to children? How is it improving their lives? And most people will say, well, the equipment that we have, the kids will have computers or they'll have access to this and that. My wife and I were watching this weird video on YouTube. And it was this Asian guy has a bunch of these videos. I can't remember who it is, but maybe I'll find it tomorrow and I'll bring it up. You can find it on YouTube. And the only reason why it's helpful is because he goes over these websites you may not have heard of that will help you in your daily life. Some of them talk about things like Microsoft Words. Like, Microsoft Word has this little hack that you can use that will help you do this or do that. A resume builder website that if you're trying to write a great resume, this website will help you do that. So he talks about all these sites, but we noticed that everything that he was talking about was inundated with these school math programs. And they were for your kids who were in junior high school. A few of them were in grade school, but they were all these websites that are free to teach your children how to do things like algebra. In essence, it is a computer program inside these sites to teach your kid to understand algebra. They had some that were advanced there were some that were geometry and others that were for calculus and trigonometry. But the ones that they were pretty basic, but they were websites. And my wife and I are looking at them, and she immediately started texting the sites or texting the stuff to the boy and said, hey, check this site out. This will help you with math. This will help you with science. I couldn't believe how many of them were out there, which in my head said, wait a minute. Wouldn't that be a wise idea for classrooms to use It would save them money on tutors. It would save them money on having to hire someone to teach these children how to do it. In fact, they could use this in the classroom. Ask the kids to bring in their computers so they can learn how to do the work, and they can have an assistant, the teacher for that matter, can have an assistant in teaching these kids how to get by some of their class assignments. Maybe I'm thinking outside the box. Who knows? Another man outside the box is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. What's going on outside your box, sir?
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, southbound 91 coming into Hartford, just a little slow, getting by 33 down to 32 A and B. In Hartford, again, some tight traffic down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Looks real good, 91 northbound Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Boca Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. If you're eastbound 84, you're going to see some slow traffic now, approaching 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 moving very well east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. If you're westbound 84, going up the Big Hill in Cheshire, you're going to see delays approaching 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound slowing 3 to 5 in Danbury. Again, 84 eastbound slowing approaching 10 to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic in Hamden from exit 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. And 95 southbound New Haven tight 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got dry, tranquil weather to enjoy on this final day of September with a mixture of clouds and sunshine at a high in the upper 70s. It's warmer than what we typically find for the end of this month. We begin this evening partly cloudy. It'll tend to become mostly cloudy later tonight with a low of 54. And clouds and a few peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Not as warm as today. Tomorrow's high at 72 degrees. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 50 to 55. Cold front will cross the area late tomorrow night, Wednesday morning. The front will probably come through dry. Can't rule out a stray shower. Mostly cloudy and cooler on Wednesday with a high of 68. And then cooler weather Wednesday night. Partly cloudy with a low of 53. Upper 40s across many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice. Sunshine and a few clouds. High 74. Then partly cloudy Thursday night. Low 54. And we look for dry, warmer weather to end the week. Partly sunny on Friday with a high of 78. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
71 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Vice presidential candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance meet in a CBS News debate tomorrow night. CBS's Nancy Cordes.
This is really the last chance that voters have to get a good look at these two tickets side by side before Election Day. Only the second debate of the cycle between either Harris or her running mate and Trump and his running mate. And so, if you're still undecided, you're going to want to tune in to hear what these two men who have really actually only been on their respective tickets for a few weeks.
You can hear it live on WTIC. It remains a crisis in Asheville, North Carolina. Officials trying to get more water, food, and other supplies to flood-stricken areas. Many remain without power or cell service in the wake of Hurricane Helene. The death toll in the south is at more than 120. In Tennessee, 14 state bridges are closed and 5 are destroyed. The FEMA administrator is surveying damage in North Carolina, where search and rescue teams are on the ground. Officials tell the AP Israel has launched small ground raids in Lebanon, and a larger ground operation is being planned.
We're seeing some of the clearest signs yet of Israel's preparation for an expansion of the conflict. Dozens and dozens of tanks, armored fighting vehicles, and bulldozers, virtually everything you would expect for a ground invasion. And this comes just days after Hezbollah confirmed the targeted killing of the head of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and in the face of ongoing airstrikes in southern Beirut and in southern Lebanon, just a few miles from here.
CBS's Chris Livesay reporting. Senator Chris Murphy's office says the senator is in Mexico City with the U.S. presidential delegation. They're attending the inauguration of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. State wildlife officials confirmed the first human case of a new tick-borne disease. It's also the first case of rickettsiosis in the Northeast. It's carried by the Gulf Coast tick, which has been moving north. The illness can be treated with antibiotics. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 17 points. S&P was up 24. NASDAQ was up 70. Sports, the New York Mets make the playoffs in the first of two in Atlanta. Francisco Lindor launched a two-run shot in the ninth, and the Mets won the game 8-7. Game 2, third inning, Atlanta 1, Mets nothing. The Braves will be out of the playoffs if they lose that game. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wow, honey, have you... Whoa, a minute.
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when
You
you
don't
need
have to
it.
do the
Bulky
focus
tanks
on
are
this one.
history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wild...
And 10, come right in.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I was thinking of Chris Christopherson as I was listening to that commercial. I'm almost, I feel like that, but that voice is not Chris Christopherson. But I was thinking of him and just iconic voices and just names. I know he passed away, and Dikembe Mutombo has passed away. And my wife was just saying, the other day, it was like, oh, it always happens in threes. And I'm like, sure enough. Then I hear that John Astor from the, is that how you say his name? John Astor from Beverly Hills Cop just finished Axel F. I thought he had already passed away, but of course he passed away yesterday. And now he's gone. They say it happens in threes. I don't believe in that whole happening in threes thing. I think it just, you go. It's like random numbers, but now everyone will make it about these three. They say it immediately, but Dikembe Mutombo. John Ashton, right? Yeah, I figured I got his name wrong. Yeah, I only thing I knew him from was the Beverly Hills Cop movies. Did you know him from anything else, Roland?
I did not.
No, right? So it's like, no, he's just Beverly Hills. Are you still mad about the New Orleans thing? I'm sorry. I apologize. The whole conversation was really about what I think of New York. By the way, if you haven't heard it, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can listen to the Sunday show, of course, so you can hear it here. You post it on the Odyssey app, don't you, Roland, on the Sunday show? Or do I have to send it to you?
I don't do the Sunday show.
Oh, okay.
I just do Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, if you need to hear it, you can go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I post it immediately after the Sunday show when it airs here on WTIC. So if you want to listen to it, you can. I talk about New York and the whole deal with Mayor Eric Adams. I heard on Brian's show this morning, I can't remember the gentleman he was talking to that was on his show talking about how ridiculous and how frivolous this case is against Eric Adams. And I think they filed a motion to dismiss the case, and they're saying a lot of this stuff has to do with upgrades. Airline upgrades. I told everybody the same thing. But I said, look, if they get rid of Eric Adams and they get that progressive kid in there that AOC likes, New York, it's over. Just stand. I want everybody to just go down to Bridgeport and just, get your binoculars. You won't have to. Just watch it go up in smoke. Just like, whoo. Yeah, New York. Fun times. They want to burn that thing to the ground. They don't ever want that place there. I don't think they'd ever want that to flourish anymore, Mark Christopher, at the BPS Traffic Center. You've been to New York, I'm assuming, a couple of times, right?
New York City?
Yeah.
Oh, many times. Yeah, many times.
Would you miss it if it weren't a place to go? Like, if it
Of course I would.
You would?
Like what? New York City? Like, would I miss it if it wasn't there to go to it?
Yeah, like if it had become like a place that only Snake Plissken could escape. Like, what would you would you be okay? I'm serious. It's New York City. What is there now that would make you go, got to get back?
Well, I mean, the restaurants alone.
Okay, all right. Maybe restaurants, okay,
You
fine.
know one place, I can't believe I've never been to the world's most famous arena. I've never been to MSG.
No.
Never been to Mets. I've been to both Met stadiums. I've been to both Yankee stadiums. I've never been to MSG.
Probably because the Knicks are horrible.
Yeah, you know what I want to do, though? Next year, and I always forget, and then it's last minute, but I want to get tickets to the Big East tournament. I want to see the Big East
That would be great.
Yeah.
That is always rip-roaring
The atmosphere
fun.
is great, yeah. And I've never been to MSG. Been to the Beacon Theater many times.
Uh-huh.
Went to the Freedom Tower a couple years ago. Of course, Statue of Liberty.
Right.
All the typical places.
Listen, here's what I'm going to say to you. Listen,
Okay.
you've only got a little bit of time. Get down there now. They're about to burn New York to the ground. Get into Madison Square Garden real quick.
Yeah,
Basketball
do it before
season
they-
has just
yeah.
begun. Get
Right.
down there. Get there real quick. Take all the photos you can. Get out of there. And then just sit back and watch it burn.
Well, that's a shame if that really does happen. Hopefully that won't happen. But no, New York's great city.
I'll be there for my first time, February 1st.
South Bend 91 just a little slow at 32 A and B, and again another bumped up bikes at 28. North Bend 91 to real.
To see LeBron play, of course.
West Bend 84 is tight, approaching the Bothia Bridge up to 47. Sigourney 84 east.
The real GOAT.
As you move
Oh,
towards
no,
the tunnel.
hey,
84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbounds, okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet in Middletown. West Bend 84 in Cheshire slowing 26 to 25A, and again from 23 to the Mixmaster. Eastbound 84 tight in Danbury 3 to 5. Again, a little slow traffic 84 eastbound by 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 61 down into the West Rock, and 95 southbound you got delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy as we begin this evening. Mostly cloudy overnight, cooling down to low of 54. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, and a high of 72.
Wow, he was born in Springfield, Mass. Didn't know that.
5. And
Whom?
Stay mostly cloudy.
John Ashton.
Cooler,
Oh, wow.
68. Partly sunny Thursday, warming up to a high of 74. Right now, it is 72 degrees in Middletown. It's 69 in Walcott, and 71 in Hartford.
I think Eddie Murphy must have knew something. That's why he did the movie.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with...
Yeah, Latexual, that's my favorite basketball team. I'll never be a Knicks fan. I love the Celts.
Brain fog or bloating, then your body might need...
You love who?
Active Liver
The
from New
Celtics.
Nordic.
Wait a minute. We got a chip, homie.
Diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available.
I get Larry Bird, but that's about it.
Oh,
at
gee.
Amazon.
Really?
Sarah.
The big three?
First time
Huh?
nanomoments.
2008, we don't get no love.
To
We
annual
beat
girl
Kobe.
trip moments.
Oh, yeah. I do like that one, too. But not because of the big three. I just like KG.
For older or 60 plus with
I'm a big
chronic condition
KG
like
fan.
asthma.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite power forward.
You're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
We all hear the radio ads about the...
Wait a minute.
They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. Us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, there's that depressing music. I may like it, but it's just lets me know that the show's
It's
almost
an indication that the show's over.
Roland likes that. Anyway, more news and more views that you can shake a stick at. Don't forget to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com after the show. Read the stupidest thing that I read today. Also, if you'd like to, we'd appreciate it if you purchased a T-shirt from ReeseOnTheRadio.com. We'll get that, of course, in the mail for you. We got plenty of people so far who are ordering up the Scallywag shirts. I'm very, very happy about that. That one, I got to give praise to my wife for the Scallywag shirt because that was her doing. It was her idea, and I think that shirt is brilliant. The longshoremen on the East Coast. I don't know if you've been following this story, but a lot of people are really concerned about this, especially those who are in the food industry, supermarket owners as well. In fact, I've been chatting up with some people who know very much about this, in particular, Bob LeBone, who knows this subject all too well, and he's very concerned about what could happen when this strike, which looms right now, we're talking about 12:01 tonight, Tuesday morning. Here's what the president, Harold Daggett, said in an interview, and this is part of the reason why something needs to be done and something needs to be done now.
If it was up to them, they would like to see everybody lose their jobs. Let me tell you, it's not just in the longshore. They got ships in Europe that they're building. They got one now, runs on a battery, container ship. No crew. Somebody in an office building runs it. Goes out, goes in. They don't want anybody. They don't want to pay anybody. It's not only this union, it's in every union in every aspect. If they keep putting machinery to take our jobs, who's going to pay the income tax? Machines are not. Who's going to pay for the military, the roads? Everything runs by taxes. You go in a store today, it's self-checking. They don't need anybody to check out no more. Someone has to get into Congress and say, whoa, time out. This world is going too fast for us. Machines got to stop. Yes, we're getting smart kids at MIT and all these places. Yeah, they're all brilliant. But what good is it if you're going to put people out of work?
And that's the concern. You know, I was one of those people who cheered on McDonald's and fast food companies. Wendy's was probably, I think Wendy's was the first one to do it, when there were these demands for $15 payrolls, minimum wage, I should say, for fast food workers. And I said the only thing they were going to do was advance automation. Wendy's was the first to do it, then McDonald's. And you go to a McDonald's today, you see the kiosk. Staffing is slow. And that's what it's turned into. And it's become sort of a mainstay now. What used to be really fast at McDonald's, because you had so many people inside the office, now it's like skeleton crew. and you're standing around waiting for your food, sometimes 10 minutes for a specialty order. That's not fast food. But automation is, the future. These longshoremen, in fact, a part of this interview that Harold gives, he talks about the money that they're asking for, the longshoremen, that they're fighting for, that they may not get. But there's so much money. One of the largest companies makes 3 times what Amazon makes. Another company is so profitable, they gave, in France, one company, he says, was so profitable, they gave every one of their employees a bonus of 50 months worth of pay. I'll say it again. I thought he said 50 weeks. I had to watch it again. He said they gave a bonus to their employees of 50 months worth of pay.
Damn.
Exactly. Okay? That's how much money they're making. So it's serious what's going to happen in this strike. We're looking at about $5 billion. It might be $5 billion a week. It could be a day. I don't know, but it's billions of dollars. Back to the phones we go. John is in Washington, Connecticut. How are you, John?
He is not.
Okay, then let's go to Bob in Middlefield. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, pretty good, Reese. Hey, listen, we don't only have to worry about the longshoremen, which is a big problem. Understood. We got to wonder, the last time we heard an EAS or EBS broadcast, how many times a week have you been hearing these things going on?
Yeah.
Every single day. And, it's just a constant reminder in between the soap operas and all the news reports and all this stuff. And another thing, too, is when have you ever heard of a 140-mile-power wind hurricane coming through, ripping up North Carolina, 800 miles inland?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always, once it hits land, it's supposed to slow down, isn't it?
Yeah, it did pick up speed.
It picked up speed, and it went on. It went on for like 800 miles inland, and it devastated and creamed out all those counties and provinces up in North Carolina, as far as North Carolina, maybe beyond.
Are you throwing a conspiracy theory at me, Bob?
Now listen, I waited for Wednesday. Hey, I'll give you a wacky Wednesday. Here's my hot tip for today, though.
Okay.
Ingersoll Lockwood. You ever hear of Ingersoll Lockwood?
Not familiar. Why?
Okay, he's a writer. He's like Samuel Clemens, way back when, Mark Twain. In the 1800s, he wrote this famous book. It's called The Last President.
Uh-huh.
And guess who the last president is?
I don't know.
You'll never guess.
Please.
Donald Trump.
Please
He was supposed to be elected in 1999. And as a matter of fact, his other books were about Barron Trump.
Oh, you know what's funny? I've heard that before. I did hear that before. Yeah, couldn't remember the author.
He's sort of like the satirical dystopian type of writer. And he's my type of writer.
Yeah, a lot of people like that.
Wacky Wednesday.
Thank you, sir.
He's that type. You bet.
I totally got it now. Steve, let's go to Steve in Waterbury. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm going to make a prediction.
Go for it.
I think it's time for the short shoremen to take over.
It might be. Well, wait a minute. Here's my deal. Okay, so obviously this industry is booming. The fact that there's a company out there that's making 3 times the amount as Amazon. But the automation that Daggett is talking about, and I don't even know if you watched that interview. I'll post it on my Facebook page if you want to watch the whole thing. He talks about in France how they've got one ship that they've developed. They've developed a ship that's run by batteries. It's got no crew. And they don't even have a crew on the ship. It can actually be run remotely at their office in France by remote control.
It sounds interesting, but I didn't realize I'm just coming new to this as I got out of work.
Yeah.
But that sounds like an accident waiting to happen at some
That's
point.
what I was thinking. Of course I was thinking that. It's like for somebody to be – now, I get it. We've developed drones that people are stationed somewhere and they fly over hostile areas and they're maneuverable. It's sort of like, less casualties because, again, it's almost like getting a fighter pilot out there to survey, to do recon, all that other stuff, and, in fact, neutralize if necessary. But I'm thinking we're dealing with billions of dollars of merchandise on a ship, battery operated by remote control on land, while, I feel like all of this, yeah, exactly. Michael A. just said the pirates will love this. I hope they don't go through the Horn of Africa with these ships.
Well, it might be harder to stop, actually, because, from what you're saying. But look at that ship that hit the bridge and wiped it out because it lost its steering.
Exactly.
I mean, but getting back to, like, McDonald's.
Yes.
I know for a while some of the fast food places were going overseas and taking the orders to people that were overseas.
Right.
But the other thing is I haven't been to a fast food place in a long time. I understand if you want to go to a place like Burger King that they just opened up down the road from where I work, it's like an $18 meal.
Yeah, but we knew that was going to happen with the bloated income, right? We knew that. Sure, I'll pay you $15. I'll pay you $20. I'm just going to pass the savings on to the customer. It's like
exactly. Yeah. And then we can't forget about the kids that are trying to get their first job, and now
I won't hire them for $20. Why would I hire a 16-year-old for $20 an hour?
And especially not for nothing. I'm not saying this is true of all young people, but I hear so many stories that the younger generation just doesn't seem to have the work ethic. I mean, I got a young kid working with me now who's only like 21, and he's a great worker. He really is. But I hear so many horror stories. I just think they're really setting this country up to fail.
I think what I think happened in the fast food industry was, one, it was like a perfect storm. The job itself was mocked by children or their peers. If you worked at a McDonald's, your peers would make fun of you. Oh, you work at McDonald's, you work at Burger King. When I worked at Burger King, I'll never forget my friend walked into the class. I was a host, which in essence means that you just clean tables and mop floors. But one day I'm working at the local Burger King outside my high school, and my friend walks in and he screams at the top of his lungs, "Hey, mop boy." I mean, in front of all the girls. I look like I was embarrassed. No, I didn't care because he's my friend and, we kind of josh each other. Right. But it's so mocked by teenagers, they rejected working there. The other side was you had so many uneducated adults that couldn't get entry-level jobs anywhere else. They had to work at McDonald's and Burger King, and therefore they needed a livable wage to take care of a family. So it was a perfect storm of both ideals.
Well, I could see in a case if somebody has like some type of disability like that, maybe then the government coming in and help them subsidize a bit. You know what I mean? If they're really like challenged. But that being said, look at the CEO of McDonald's.
Yeah.
He started off, I believe, as a fry cook.
Oh, the current CEO. Hey, but how long did it take him to get to his position? It's like I'm sure he worked a good 40 years before he got there. But I don't think, look, once we stop demonizing that kind of work, that entry-level work, we'll get kids back in that job. But on the other level, we've got to start getting our adults out of that industry and get them into real jobs outside of it. I know people think that's crazy, but look, I'm sorry. If you want to destroy an industry like the fast food industry, keep going the way that you're going now. As Craig just said, minimum wage goes up in Connecticut to $16 an hour by midnight. There's going to be a lot of pink slips, as he says, and it should be.
It's going to be $16.35.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
January,
16. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you mentioned I forgot his name. I want to say Ray Kroc, but I think that's who started it. But anyways, it may have taken him 40 years to get there, but look how many people work 40 years or nowhere near there.
Yeah, good point. Fair. Touche indeed, sir. Touche. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the call, sir.
All right, my friend.
All right. Our last but not least tonight, on the program. Listen, you guys have a wonderful Monday. I'm going to actually do some work. I've got some WTIC business I need to attend to before it's too late. So I'll be in my office doing that for the rest of the afternoon. And I'll also be paying my penance for insulting Louisiana or New Orleans for that matter.
Yes. Harsh whip slashes.
I'm sorry, Roland. I apologize. Forgive me. I'll even go down there and I'll patronize that place before it sinks into the ground. Let's get back to the BPS Traffic Center and our.
I know what Reese has to do tonight.
Yes, I know you know.
I know too. I've already completed it.
So what? Have you done yours yet, Mark Christopher, the BPS Traffic Center?
All right, I did mine from. Took me 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Goodness gracious!
Well, because
Yeah.
There's 222 pages.
Yep. Slides too, and you can't pass nothing up.
Oh,
but you got to wait till the countdown thing to let you go to the next page.
Oh,
so
all right.
Yeah, and then about 60 questions in, my computer kicked me out of the program. I couldn't get back in, so I had to go to another computer. So
thanks, WTIC. God bless you.
This is gonna be a good night for you, dude. I just got up yesterday morning and I said, I'm going to bang this out because it ain't going away.
All right.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Have fun.
As I always say, radio is free, folks.
Right now, I can hear the pain coming from him right now. Both sides of 84 moving well. Farmington out into Vernon.
You gonna be so pissed when you see some of them slides, dog. I wanted to.
You wanted to break it?
Yes.
Slow down 84 westbound.
All right. I'll get to it.
Eastbound
I'll
side of
see you
84
tomorrow.
Newtown.
Yes, sir. Enjoy your night, my
Thanks,
boy.
man. Bye.
36 to 44 and southbound on the Parkway. You got some slow traffic from 61 down to 60 in Hamden. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get help?
All right, folks. Thank you, Michael A. Thank you, Craig. Love you too, bro. And yeah, Craig, by the way, send me a text message or email or instant message. I need your address. I gotta send you something. All right.